So in my testing.html, basically in the HTML file, we don't have much. So it's pretty straightforward. So we have the section tag where we have a p tag with a class of fade text. And then inside of this, we have a bunch of text. And then some of the text are wrapped inside of this span tag. Now, basically, if you have seen the intro, we have some of the text in red. So basically these spans later on, we're going to be changing the color from black to red. And then for the CSS, we don't have much. We've just reset some of the stuff. We've just given padding block, basically top and bottom of 80 viewport height in the body. We've changed the font family to bricolage grotesque. And then the section has a height, some padding, and then we've centered everything using display grid and place content to center. And then the paid text has a font size and also no margin. And then also the individual letters, basically we have inline block. So even if you remove this doesn't really matter because, well, we're going to be using these split type. So if you want, you could use span tags, which are by default inline, which I'm going to be going over just in a sec. So for the JavaScript libraries, we're having GSAP. For the animation, also ScrollTrigger, since we're going to be having the animation triggered at various points or the scroll position. So for that, we need ScrollTrigger, and then also we're going to be using Lenis. Now, in some of my previous video as well, some of you have commented down that when you use ScrollTrigger, you get some issues with the scrolling and it kind of acts weird. The reason for that is because you need to use a custom scroll bar. So either you use Lenis, you have locomotive scroll, and also I think GSAP has smooth scrolling. So out of these three, or maybe there are others as well, so you could use those. So the one that the browser provides, the native scroller, has some issues with ScrollTrigger, so you need to use a third party or maybe build a custom. So here in this video, we're going to be using Lenis, and then we have this split type, basically, which is basically used to split these text into individual characters, just so that we could have each individual character triggers this scroll trigger, and then we could have individual animation for each specific character. So inside of this script tag, we're going to get started by first adding Lenis. So this you could just get from their official website. So this just initializes the Lenis. Now, if I were to show you, so let's just go back. Hold on a second. Yeah. So as you can see now, it's pretty smooth. So now, as you can see, the Lenis is active. So the scrolling is also pretty smooth. After that is done, we're going to be now starting off with the animation. So here what we're going to be doing is we're going to first register the scroll trigger, and then we're going to first select the text inside of this paragraph. So we have given a class of fade text, and then we're going to be looping through each individual character inside of this fade text paragraph. So we're going to be grabbing each character or element, and then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using this split type. So it basically splits each individual, I mean, it basically splits the paragraph into each individual character, or if you want, you could have it split into words. So I'm going to be targeting the element, and then I'm going to be splitting them into each individual characters. And then what I want to do is I want to have a specific configuration for the scrolling. So when the scrolling happens, I want the scrolling to basically trigger when it reaches that specific element or that specific character. And then the position would be start at top 80% and end at the top 20%. So these are basically the marking points where we want the scroller to start and end. And then we have this scrub to true, which basically pins the animation according to the scroll position. So as you scroll down, the animation would go on. So it's not like you reach a certain position, you trigger the animation, and then the animation starts happening automatically and ends without any control. So with this, you basically have the control over the animation. So as you scroll down, the animation would smoothly progress. After that is done, we have the toggle option. So basically, once the animation ends and let's just say we scroll from top to bottom, we want the animation to also reverse when we go from bottom to top. So we have the toggle action. So for this, we're going to have play, play, and then reverse, reverse, just so that when we go from bottom to top, the animation reverses. So these are basically the scroll configuration. You don't really need to have a separate variable. You could have it directly in the GSAP animations. So, but then it just sorts the code and then it makes it a bit cleaner. So now we're going to get started with the gsap.from tool, which basically is the initial and also the final animation stages. So first we're going to target the characters, text.characters, and then what we're going to be doing is initially we want the opacity to be 0.4, and then finally we want the opacity to be 1. But these are not the only thing that we want. So first, let's see what we have. So here, if I go back, so as I scroll down, we don't see any changes because the animation is not getting triggered. So now let's just say we have a duration of 0.3, we have a stagger of 0.2, 0.02, and then we have the scroll trigger, which is the scroll config. So here, as you can see, if I scroll down, we see that each individual characters are now fading in from 0.4 opacity to 0.1. Looks pretty nice. And when you scroll up, you see it reverses. So pretty cool. Now what we want to do is for each individual spans, we want the color to change from black to red. So we're going to target the spans. So we're going to target the element, and then inside of the element, we have the span. And then also the span would also get split into characters. So because we're using split type. So I'll just show you one more thing. So what's happening is if I were to inspect it, let's just say this. Here, let's just say I click onto this. So you would see that in the HTML, we just have the paragraph fade text, and then we just directly have the text. But when we're using split type, it automatically builds different divs, and then within that, it places each individual character. So as you can see, we have these characters inside of a separate div named as char or char, whatever you want to call. So now what we want to do, the span, which has these character classes, we want to target that. And then what we want to do is we want initially the color to be black, but then as we reach that specific position, we want the color to be red. Let's save and let's see. So now when we scroll down, these are automatically red. So these don't get changed from black to red. So they're already red. The only difference is they have a bit of less opacity. So to have a trigger, we need these same options. So here we have the duration of 0.3, stagger to 0.2, and then scroll trigger, the same configuration as we have here. So we're going to have scroll config. Let's save. Let's see. So initially you would see that these are black, but then as we scroll down, the color changes from black to red, and there we have it. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope this video was helpful. It's a bit shorter video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something cool. The source code is in the description, and yeah, if you're new to the channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn the notification bell, since every week I bring such amazing content. So yeah, that's it for this video. Meet you guys in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care.